Hi, I'm Tavleen and I'm an eccentric scientist when it comes to quantum leaping. And today I'm going to reveal to you one really fundamental block when it comes to quantum leaping, which is our dreams. When I mean a fundamental block, I mean a stepping stone. Now, our dreams deliver us messages that are very important, that our psyche has been trying to communicate with us, but because we're not present for it, we're not willing to receive those messages, is why we never hear it. But dreams are communicating with us all the time. Can you imagine, like, a messenger is coming and trying to deliver you an envelope with a letter inside which actually contains some important steps that you need to take to merge with your higher self or to make progress on your path, and you're actually sending the postman back and saying, "Thank you so much, I am not interested." How else do you think the messenger should communicate with you? How else do you think the postman should deliver that letter to you? Because it is repeatedly knocking your door through dreams. So it's very important to understand and interpret the language of dreams, and that is what I'm teaching you to do through this video. Now, here's the problem. We dismiss dreams as that's just all they are. It was just a dream. Come on, you don't have to take it seriously. But they are symbolic. Different things, different incidents, different events in dreams actually represent different things. Now, I'm going to actually lead with an example. So, I'll give you an example of a dream that I had. So, there was a small child, probably 6, 7 year old, and I was in a classroom setup. There was a teacher sitting, and then there was the mother of another child, and that was the friend of this child. So, let's just call him Kevin. Now, I kept telling Kevin to tell this other mom that you actually want to come to her house and you want to play with her son, and you're really looking forward to visiting her and so on. So Kevin goes and communicates and says, "I would love to come to your home whenever you invite me. I'll be there. I'll be very happy." And she says, "Sure, I'll do that." And then I say it again. I say, "Oh, just let her know that you're so willing and you really want to come to her home. You want to really pay a visit." I'm teaching him to communicate in a way that pleases her, in a way that helps him seek her approval. Now, on repeatedly doing this, this mother gets kind of annoyed and she goes and talks to the teacher and says, "Well, this child is repeatedly doing this, and I want him to stop." So the teacher actually calls the child and says, "Why are you doing that again and again? You've said it once and that's fine. We got it." So Kevin complains and he says, "Well, it's because I'm doing it because of this person, and she's telling me to go on and repeatedly please her, repeatedly tell her this." And so the teacher looks at me and I'm a little embarrassed. I'm like, why am I doing this? Of course, I woke up with no intention to remember this, but somehow it occurs to me. And I'm like, okay, what could this possibly say? Because it's such a random thing. It has nothing to communicate. There is no symbols in this. What is it trying to tell me? So I did spend some time understanding the language of this dream. And so the whole idea was that the dream was trying, my psyche was communicating with me, and it was saying that, listen, be direct, be clear, be clean with your communication. Do not people please. Do not manipulate your words in order to seek approval from others unconsciously. Be more direct with your communication. People pleasing backfires. So step back and do not do it over and over again. So I want to share with you a symbol literacy map which basically educates you in the language of dreams. Now, here are some of the things. If there is a death in the dream, it does not symbolize a real death. It just means an old pattern is dying, an old version of you is dying. If you see a child in the dream, it does not mean a real child. It represents your vulnerable self, your dependent self. It is the one that is seeking some sort of connection with you. If you see a spouse or partner, it represents how you relate to intimacy. Airports represent threshold, where you're not completely there and you're not completely here. You're standing somewhere in the middle at the cusp, having to make an important decision about your life. Bridges represent integration, something which you are just letting go of, and something which is new, you are still adapting to it. And what are you learning from what you have just let go of, or the old patterns that are dying? What are you learning from them? So different things, events. For example, if there is a new birth, it represents birth of a new identity. If there is a graveyard in the dream, it represents memories, memories that are coming back to you, that are reminding you of an old forgotten self. If you see a person that you related with, that was your best buddy and that existed in the previous years, but you don't have that person with you anymore, your dream is trying to say that who were you with that person? You were this alive, chirpy, authentic self, and it is a reminder to become that version of you again. Similarly, clean water represents clarity emerging, emotional clarity emerging. Dirty water represents emotional, unprocessed emotions, grief that you haven't looked at. Drowning represents emotional overwhelm or overload, where you do not have the capacity to really look at yourself and be with the discomfort of facing your own fears, your own shadows, and getting vulnerable with yourself. And hence, you are drowning in the dream. So, different events carry different messages. And before you dismiss your next dream, I want to urge you to really sit down with it and speak to it. Allow your psyche to deliver you the message. Yes, you can use ChatGPT or AI to help you interpret it. But I'm telling you, dreams have their own language. And when you start leaning in for insights, for messages that they're here to deliver, you'll start to connect the dots. One simple way to do it is that tonight before you sleep, affirm that I want to remember my dream. I want to get a message in my dream and I want to remember it when I wake up. And that's a great way to start. So I really hope that you will not dismiss your dreams, won't take them lightly, and that you will allow them to communicate to you because, like I said, the messenger is knocking at the door. When will you open it? I hope you enjoyed this content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.